Hi, Sim here. We're here with,
Joey.
and what'd you do this past weekend?
Top 32 at Sydney. I want to go deeper, but it is what it is. That's kind of how it goes sometimes.
All right, any shout outs before we start?
Shout outs to Bortle for doing the profile pack. He helped me with his deck. It's pretty similar to the deck he played at Vegas. Everybody I stayed with, G, Kamal, Chris, Hani, all the bozos, Ryan, and the Utah bozos too.
Run it. Let's get started.
Okay, yeah. So I played Pure Snake Eye. It's fairly standard. I think it's the best deck. The longer the format goes, I think this deck gets even better because you know what everybody's playing, and this deck can play the most amount of non-engine. So this is super standard: Ash, Pop, Oak, and Flamberg, and 3 Bonfire. The one thing you just have to be aware of in this deck is when you're playing around Nib a lot, you go through 2 Flambergs. So if you draw the second Poplar or something, you actually can't send for Ash or Oak without putting back with original first. So it's just something you want to be aware of when you're playing the deck. Jet lets you make the crazy boards. Sometimes you side it out going second, but honestly, I was thinking about it. It helps you dodge effect negation too. If you can leave it in, it's nice. So typically you just take out like Flamberg or the third witch or something. And then Wanted Package is super standard. This is one of the reasons why the deck is so good is Temple. And then you have a lot of cards that don't just get to one thing like the Fire King deck, where it just gets to original. So you can actually get Temple to play around more hand traps. And then the non-engine, Imperm, Nib, Ash, Veiler. And then I want to fit in other non-engine, so I only played 1 Mourner, 1 Droll for crossout. But typically, if you draw 2 of these, they're just going to pass. If you draw 3, it's super, super killer most of the time. So you're just trying to draw as many as you can. And then even when they stop you, you're definitely not in the best position because they can run over your monsters and then make Dark or Hida. But you still just want to be able to hand trap them when you go second too. And then 3 crossout. This is actually probably the best non-engine you can play now because everybody plays so many hand traps. And if your Snake Eye Ash resolves, at least the first part of the effect, typically you can play through any one other hand trap. So they need to draw like 3 to stop you from playing. And even then, if your hand is good, you still might be able to play through it. So crossout is broken. 1 for 1. It's kind of sus sometimes because he uses 2 cards, but this deck only really has 2 pushes, like Ash plus Pop, and then the original with the Witch, so it kind of gives you like a 3rd push if you can draw it. Most of the time, you're still not cracking the board anyways if they know how to play their interrupts, but yeah. And then I decided to play 3 Lullaby because we're trying to build the deck for Top Cut, and I did play against like 6 Mirrors, but it was not the best card in the main deck, to be honest. I'd probably just put in something maybe more generic, like Mourner or something, or depending on what you want to play. So I'd probably just play this in the side deck for when you go first. Extra deck. So I actually think the extra deck is pretty much standard, except for you can play. There's pretty much 1 flex spot I think now. But so Savage, Formula, Baron. These cards let you even play around cards like Super Poly as long as you do it correctly. So you'll just Savage negate. And then unless you really want to make Appaloosa with the IP, you just make Baron right there and then bring up the IP and then make SP there. So you would play around Super Poly too. These are all standard. Celine, Phoenix, Princess, Atlantis, Hida, Nightmare Phoenix, Appo, Dark, IP, SP, Brew. This is like kind of your flex spot. You can play this access code or the second Princess probably, I guess, but it's pretty good when you play so many hand traps. The game state gets kind of simplified. And if you get to the point where you can summon access code, it means you already have a ton of extra monsters. You should build 1 anyways. And then my tokens. And then side deck. So these are, 1 Bell. This is kind of for crossout. It's kind of sus though because I actually don't think this card is that good. In the mirror, you're probably just hoping they draw Wanted, because if they draw any other combo, unless it's normal summon Poplar, they can play around Bell. So I might even just cut it. And then second and third roll, and second and third Mourner. So this is a little better in the mirror, and this is a little better against Fire King. So you can just kind of swap in the hand traps you think are good against the matchup. And then 4 Bestials. It's for like Despia, for Gimmick Puppet, Voiceless obviously, and yeah, that's pretty much what it's for. And then we decided to kind of make the deck super killer for when you go first. So when you go first, for your non-engine, you're going to have Crossout, Lullaby in the main deck, and then you're going to have 3 Talents, and then 3 Summon Limit. Like, I don't know how you're going to win most of the time if you're going second against this deck and they play it correctly. So
Well, anything else before we head out?
Shout out to Heisem for doing the profile.
Oh,
and
thanks,
Bortle.
thanks.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
And yep, just everybody that helped me with the deck and showed support. So
All right. Peace.
thanks, guys.